The road to Interplanetario. I'm Stephen. This is Jord.
Hello.
And this is our continuation of the story.
Yeah, this is like the second episode, right? Of our road to Interplanetario.
It's not like the second episode.
It is the second episode.
It is the second episode. So, since episode 1,
Yep.
where we discussed like the armies that we liked, we originally drawn to, and we weren't quite sure if that was the direction we're going to take.
Nope.
And if you're not quite sure, Interplanetario is an awesome, great convention that is put on by the team at Corvus Belli and many, many others. And it is a really great celebration of all the Corvus Belli games, from Warcrow, which I absolutely love, to Infinity, and all the other epicness that's going on, from painting.
I'm excited to go. It'll be my first Interplanetario as well, so I'm very excited.
The location is great as well.
Nice.
So honestly, it's a huge, huge win. Now, the Infinity competition there is something in which that we're gearing up for. We're going to try our very best to be great opponents when we get to Interplanetario. And in order to do so, we need to know the rules of the game.
Absolutely.
We need to have some painted armies.
Yep, I've made a start.
And yeah, you've done a great job on Ajax. But now, we need to go over what we've been learning.
Yes. We've had, 2 practice games now?
Yeah, I think I may have done a couple others.
I think you've done like 3 or 4. I've done 2.
Yeah.
And I've played Steel Phalanx for both my practice games. And you've played your military orders, right?
Correct.
Yep. So we played the factions that we discussed at length in the first episode.
Yeah.
Now,
the first thing is we've kept the missions really simple.
We played the same one.
We played the same mission over and over again.
Yeah.
Just so we've got an idea of getting to know the rules of the game and what our models can do.
Yeah, but I think it's also important to say that like we do understand that is like limiting how list building works and stuff, because obviously there may be like this mission doesn't really involve too much outside of like hacking a console or something, but there may be a mission rule that completely changes how certain lists work. Some units may become useless in certain missions, so it is a case of like we are aware that there's a much bigger scope of the game that we haven't visited yet.
But I always think there's like 4 parts to a game. You've got the core rules of the game. You've got the unit rules and like the list building aspect.
Yep.
You've got the missions, and then you've got the terrain.
Yeah.
So we've mostly kept the terrain similar.
Pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
Similar.
We've kept the mission the same. So then we've obviously really trying to hone in on those first 2 variables. And once we've got those right, we can then move on in, start to flutter with different missions and try them out.
Yeah. So I've kept the same list in both my games.
Okay.
So the exact same build that I took for both. Again, Steel Phalanx. Now I'm at the place where I'm like, right, I have to make some changes because I'm noticing cracks and flaws with certain units and abilities, and some of the stuff I think we'll discuss at length. Different like the sniper, Atalanta. Learning how to use that, and that mechanic is quite interesting. Ajax, what a beast! You just yeet him forward and he does damage. But learning how to wield such a powerful tool like Ajax is kind of been something I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, and our friend Adam has been helping us every week, hasn't he?
Shout out Adam, absolute legend.
And also Gabriel as well. We're having some coaching from Gabe. So Thank you so much, guys, for all of your input and all of your support. So let's recap the game that you and I had.
Yes.
What was the biggest thing that we learned from that game?
Well, there was quite a bit we actually learned from that one, I would say. I mean, there's a point actually kind of emphasized in my second game when I had my fire team of Ajax and Eudoros, and you had your really expensive unit on the other side of what was her name, Joan of Arc.
That's it.
And how many orders you start to expend on these epic character fight moments, but easily getting carried away. I'm just going, right, I want another order on. Yeah, I want another order. I've been a sucker for it.
You really get drawn into the moment, don't you?
Absolutely.
I think the thing that I took away from our game was how much combat we had.
Yes. Yeah. I think we got told that Infinity doesn't have this much close quarters fights, but we made it a close quarters game.
We did, and it was great. We were just like, right, let's get into combat. Let's really see what combat can do. So one of the things after that, became really comfortable with all the different levels of martial arts.
Yes. Yep. So you got like level 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
And
so
5.
when you get pluses, when your opponent gets negatives, when you ignore those, how many additional dice you get. When you do, like, for example, double damage, you know, and all those types of things.
Ajax double damage.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we really learned the power of how deadly combat is in that game.
Getting there.
Getting there's the problem.
It's fine when both players just want to get in combat, but when the other person has a gun,
yeah,
adds a few extra problems.
In seeing at what point do you risk, because there's always a risk part before you get there.
Yeah.
And that is normally the bit which is sometimes it feels more obvious just to shoot at that point. And it's normally the one activation before the combat happens.
So I was just about to say that's something I've learned painfully, I think, in both games, is actually there's a lot of times I'll do, right, I really want to achieve this. So this guy, I really want to get in combat with that model. And I'll start to go, here's one token. But I'm thinking 3 steps ahead, but not thinking of that one step. And actually in that movement lane, well, there's 4 or 5 models that can get AROs onto me. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should have activated over here and cleared that ARO before I move this one.
Brings me on to my next point, which was watching you and Adam play yesterday.
Yes.
Because I had a 1-to-1 session with Adam and you had a 1-to-1 session yesterday. And I was watching your game and you were so drawn in on trying to hack one of the devices.
Yeah.
And you'd moved your unit up. He had ARO'd, missed with his big blast gun. And you got lucky that nothing happened, right?
I did.
And I knew, because obviously I watched you both deploy your secret models, or your hidden, should I say, deployment models. And he revealed his, ARO'd you, missed, and then you went to activate them again, didn't you?
I did.
And I was like, Jordan, just, I took you one side. I was like, Jordan, you've got somebody hidden that you need to remember, because if your hidden model clears the only model that can ARO that unit trying to do that,
I don't need to worry about it.
No, and that's what I think you probably took away was the order of operations.
So important.
Yeah.
So important. It's understanding, like you said, like, because when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I've got a model on top of that building, haven't I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually have stuff on this side of the board I can actually use to help me in this side of the board. But I'm so focused and so used to just going, right, how do I score the mission? How do I start to get points on the board? But I think Infinity, at the order of when you start to spend your activations, it's so important, because otherwise you can fall into the traps like I did.
Yeah, and one of the things that I learned was how good of a rule chain of command is.
Yes.
So in the game that I played, Adam, I lost my lieutenant. I was maybe a little bit careless.
Early.
Yeah. And then the rest of my army was just disordered. And to see how much of a difference that was crazy.
Yeah.
So, understanding the importance of all the different rule interactions that can help you around that, and knowing that there's lots of really cool rules in the game, and having a little bit of everything is kind of sometimes what you need to make sure that you've got a option for each of those individual elements.
I know, and this is where, so my list I originally had was basically, I built it around 3 different fire teams. So I had a fire team, which was Ajax and Eudoros. That was like my combat machine fire team.
Yeah.
Then I had a fire team, which was a hoplite, a doctor, and then I also had, there was a Mackett as well. So I had like a little strike team I could use there. But then I always had a Myrmidon strike team with my lieutenant in, which was Phoenix. And then there was a Myrmidon officer as well. Now, the problem I found with Steel Phalanx was actually, well, I've only got like 10 orders and I can't now use them all. Like if I want an Ajax to go on an absolute mad killing spree, well, now I've got 6 models that can't do anything.
Yeah.
And they're just sat there taking up a
you
load
need more
of points.
You need more activations.
More activations. And I think also having the fire teams I didn't make sense, rather than focusing on this big 3 fire team.
I found that as well, is sometimes you get so invested in the fire teams that each fire team costs so many points.
Yeah.
But actually you get to the point, and when you look at a fire team, for the most part, there's normally the one, like I was using Joan of Arc each and every time because the ballistic skill's fantastic.
Oh, she's very good.
Yes, a really good character. But then if it's dragging along just expensive people, to literally just give you that additional dice, you can pick the highest. For example, when you get to once you go into the duos and the Harris and the core teams, you get those additional benefits. But you're paying a huge amount of points for that, and you've got to weigh up: is it worth it? versus just activating another model somewhere else to help you kill that model that might be the one threatening your.
Well, like
it's an interesting discussion, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's kind of. I mean, I've assumed it's become part like the fundamentals of list building, right? Is how much do you actually need of a fire team? And I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments as well. Like, what is the optimal amount of fire teams you would have in a list? Because I think I'm going to lose one of my, and I want to go through a list as well, like ideas, just to show maybe thought process. But removing one and using that as 3 separate units that kind of throwaway models to score missions and or like abilities or whatever on the boards, depending on what the mission is. But our one was just press buttons. So I need throwaway models that can go away, press a button, and hold that for me.
Or do something.
Or do something.
Yeah, just be some points in a place to bait out your enemy, draw them into firing lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because I'm not sure I want to play military orders.
Okay. Is there any other faction that's drawn your eye since you played it a few times now? And why not military orders, actually? What's put you off them?
Oh, nothing's necessarily put me off.
Just more enticing options out there.
Yeah.
I know you've been drawn to the Eugene.
Yeah. I do like the Eugene.
Eugene are cool.
And I like the JSA as well.
Yeah.
I just like the thought of running around with the ninjas. So
it's after the battle reports, after you got stung by the ninja.
Yeah. I think in military orders, especially in there's so much great close combat in there. But it seems like you pay a really big premium for everything.
Same as mine. Mine's very heavy on points in terms of models.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I'm better off at the moment with cheaper, powerful units that do one thing well. Because at the minute, I don't think I'm quite there yet. Because it seems like my units are quite good at shooting and combat, but maybe not exceptional at either of those 2 aspects. I could be wrong here, but this is just kind of what I've experienced so far. The other thing that I've learned a lot about is cover. Yeah. And coming from other war games where, pick a war game and cover works differently.
Yes.
But in this game, it's so important to get cover.
Yeah.
But you only get cover when the piece that you're touching is the thing that's blocking you and your opponent.
Okay.
But at other times, I'm like, yeah, I'll just move out. I'll easily get cover through all these intervening elements. And you don't.
No.
So it's been all of a sudden a real eye-opener. But like, well, I'm not getting cover here. Yeah, because I'm not touching the piece that's actually blocking my enemy from shooting me.
Yeah.
Some other things might be. And it might look like the craziest crack shot in the world, like they're bending bullets, but you don't get cover sometimes. And you're like, wow, that really, really hurt. And also, the thing that I think is just bonkers is anything that has continuous damage.
Continuous damage is very strong.
You get hit by one of them and you feel it.
Yeah.
You really do. So there's certain rules that I'm now seeing and I'm like, that's a cool rule. I need a bit of that. I need a bit of that continuous damage action. I need a back chain of command. So it's quite interesting to go through these experiences. And you had it recently in your game where Atalanta.
Yeah, my sniper lady.
Yeah. Got shot.
Yeah, I found with Atalanta, my big learning mistake with her was like, she's a sniper, so snipers are great at overwatch or setting up AROs, so I'm going to have this on top of a building, it's going to set up his ARO, and anything that walks out, I'm just going to sniper dead, I've got great PS, amazing. Someone with 4 or 5 shots absolutely batters you every single time because they got 4 chances of getting better than you on 1 single dice.
Yeah.
And
although the chance is in your favour, between what they need and what you need,
they have more chances to get to that point.
If you just roll low, it could be a success. But if you roll a 5 and they roll a 7, a 6, and an 8, you still got outshot by 3 bullets.
Yeah.
So, I think, you're right. It's seeing certain units are deadly in your turn, and other units are deadly as AROs.
Yeah, there was actually something that Adam was talking about to me was having like a bot that you can use. And I'd like to know from you guys what actually this is for the list building process. But I normally deploy her on like a building, on a rooftop, because it's great for a sniper point, right? But if I have a paramedic, I can't actually get up there to heal them in time. It's a complete waste of orders.
Yeah.
So, but if I had a certain bot that allows me to shoot and heal, I'd love to know which one that is so I can add that to the list. Because I think that would enable, because Atalanta's so good in, like you said, in my turn, shooting when I want her to.
Yeah.
So if I can get the most out of her, great. But yeah, I think it's definitely learning what is good in your turn and what's good in your opponent's.
Like, that's it, because I've had some games where one particular character in my army will just go on a rampage, kill lots of different things. And you might just end up with I mean, like another option you could have is she's great, right? Especially when she's hidden, can't even be shot or seen. You reveal yourself, kill somebody, so she's already got some points back for like a trade. You could have a really cheap medic prone next to that same area, which just walks forward once the area is clear of the person that just killed Atalanta. Pick it back up.
Yeah.
Or you could have somebody that's exceptional at AROs in the same place
to double down.
So then if somebody does want to try and take out Atalanta, now they've got the model that's really good at AROs. Maybe it's got an ability that allows the ARO on its full burst. I've seen that to be a really cool ability. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I've seen it happen. I'm like, yeah, that's really, really good. So let me know in the comments what that ability is, because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is.
It sounds good.
It's cool. Good, yeah. Because then you've got somebody that's really good in your turn when you're activating, and then somebody that's really great in your opponent's turn at your AROs, and combined together might be enough of a threat. Because I'm watching the game play out, and now I'm seeing it so much more from what your opponent's worried you're going to do.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, if I do this, then
that could happen.
This could happen. So am I going to risk it? No, I'm not. There's a lot of risk management happening at any one time.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like we're learning that by making these errors. Because like in my game yesterday, I just wanted to make mistakes and just see where things go wrong. So you talk about cover, smoke as well. Like smoke grenades are fantastic, because that with Ajax and Eudoros just meant I could like go up to this building, and he had some like Adam had some fantastic ARO setup.
Yeah.
That would have probably killed Eudoros coming in.
Yeah.
But I just popped a smoke grenade down. It meant I got a massive leap up to this building, and then I could just charge him straight into combat.
Yeah.
And Eudoros just cleared this entire building on his own, going on an absolute murder spree. But the smoke grenades enabled my combat units to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think learning those different techniques and when to do these sort of things really helps.
Because I found with when we played, I had the Knight of the Holy Scepter, right?
Yes.
With the two other options of which it could be.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, and you were like, that's busted. What was my experience trying to use it though?
Well, you kind of had the decision of this guy, right? And
yeah, I'm like, you got these two other models next to your model, or whichever orientation you have. It kind of felt like the moving cup trick.
Yeah.
In Magic. Yeah. But they got to stay within a certain distance of each other. And I'm like, well, if the first model I move behind cover is the obvious place, it's bound to be that person.
Yeah.
Or that model. So I'm like, this is really hard. And I can't pre-measure.
That's caught me off a bit.
Yeah. So I can't pre-measure. So I'm like, well, I've kind of got to just maybe put the model in what would be the worst position for you to think it's not that one.
Mm-hmm.
And what's ended up happening is I'm just getting in my own head.
You just have this. Oh no, what am I going to do next? It's not your opponent going, what's he going to do? It's you going, what am I going to do?
I'm like, you're watching at me and I'm like, which one should I touch first? Is that giving it away? And I'm like, maybe this model's not for me.
Yeah.
So although the rule sounds really good, in reality, it's well hard to use.
Just someone walks in and you see us both just sweating at this table, like, oh, I don't know if it's that one. And you're going, oh, I don't know, I don't want to touch it.
Or even like, I had one model which was like another model and another like a silhouette from Warsenal.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, is he going to think it's the actual model, or does he think it's going to be the silhouette? Is it too obvious it's a silhouette?
Yes, I got in his head.
Yeah, I got my own head.
Yeah.
So I don't think that model, as much as I love it, it's not for me to use because I'm not cool enough.
No.
Okay, so let's go over, because I'm thinking like I might even switch armies, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure. I need to do some list building. So let me know in the comments what you think. You think I might enjoy.
Okay,
give me your experience.
Let's go. If we're going to ask the audience what to suggest, what play style are you after? Like, if you could pick a play style, I mean, we've played quite a few different factions now. Yeah. So is there anything in particular that you really like about the game that you really want to kind of push forward with?
Well, I'll tell you what I like it from war games generally. Fast, fragile combat.
Okay, fast, fragile combat armies. Let us know in the comments which faction that is and then we can have a look at it.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Definitely. Yeah, I like that. Okay, for you, let's go over. So you wanted some help with your list, right?
Yes. Well, I've changed a few things around, and I'm really struggling here with the groups.
Yeah.
So the group aspect is really
Sorry, you're about fire teams or groups?
groups.
So what's in your 10 and what's in your like
My
after
second,
10?
yeah, exactly. What's the best way to separate that? Because I'm looking at the list. So the list I've currently got, which is 299 points, is Phoenix as the lieutenant. We've got a Myrmidon officer with chain of command and a Myrmidon with a Spitfire. It's currently in group 2, but that's just because I haven't figured out which one to put it in. They're going to go in a fire team. I've got Atalanta on her own. I've got Eudoros, who's going to go in a fire team. I believe he can do this with Dactyl and Mackay.
Yeah.
If not, then they're just going to go separate. Then I've got a Thracites hacker, another Thracites hacker. So I've got 2 hackers that I can throw away and do points with.
Yeah.
Then I've gone for Ajax with a different data sheet this time with the forward deployment one.
Okay.
So he's going to be solo, but then that means I can use his impetuous order, because this was the other thing, is I had him and Eudoros in the same one, and they can't use their impetuous because they're in a fire team. So actually having him run around and do that solo, because that's all he does anyway. Yeah. It's a tank, runs around and absolutely batters someone.
That's how you use him.
That's how I don't know if that's how you're supposed to, but
that's how you use him.
Look at how that model is so epic. He deserves to run at your opponent. Okay?
He does, yeah.
He deserves 10 orders a turn. But that's where I've got to with the army, and it's very elite.
Well, we can share the code in the description so people can check it out.
Yeah. But I'd love to know, looking at that selection there, what would be your groups? What would be your fire teams? And is there anything in particular that you think I'm missing?
Yeah.
To really, because we spoke about how I want to make the most of Atalanta.
Yeah.
And I want to make the most of Ajax. And Eudoros is great as well. So they're my 3 that I really want in the list.
So what I've learned about groupings is sometimes in that second group of models, you might have models in there that are just very good at AROs.
Okay.
Yeah. So you might have a couple of models that are just there to ARO for you, get good firing lanes. Maybe like a couple of other really cheap models in there as well that can, again, just give you more activations. And then just have like one model you're going to YOLO.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe it's got impetuous built in. Maybe it's got a way of having other potential orders. Because in that way, you've got maybe, let's say it's a group of 4, right? One model with impetuous. Maybe it's got another ability where it can, like tactical awareness or whatever, where it can like use the lieutenant order. I don't know if you can still do that in different groups.
So this is what was, because I think I'm right in saying is that in groups, I can't use the orders from group 1 if they're in group 2.
Correct.
I want him to have as many orders as possible.
He might be good in group 2 though.
But this is where I'm thinking is, but if I can only have 1 order and a tactical awareness, that's only 2, impetuous order. It's only 2 orders I can do on him. So I really need to.
But then if you've got more people in group 2 that you know you're not going to activate.
True. So maybe he goes in there with a few of the, like the Thracites, and then I get 4 orders or 3 orders and the impetuous one.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not a bad shout.
Yeah. Or like maybe like chuck there's like a war core in there. They're like super cheap.
Okay. I did have a war core in my original list. Actually.
Yeah, because they're just really cheap, right? Because then they can just go in that last group just to basically fuel him. Whereas the rest of the group 1 then maybe are self-sufficient with, you're going to activate a couple of those like fire teams or whatever. Yeah. So you could look at it like that. But yeah, let us know in the comments, which is the ability you need in order to ARO on your full burst. Because then we need to see if any of your characters, or maybe somebody will know about Aleph, if any of them have it. And then that would be a great group 2 type of model. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so we'll update you next time on episode 3 with what we're learning next. And I think it's probably time we start to look at a different mission.
Absolutely.
And hopefully by then I've got a decision on what I'm going to be playing, or I can give you an update on maybe something I tried, whether I liked it, whether it was for me or not. I'm still painting up my military orders. I've started to get the blues down in the metallics, which look cool. But yeah, I don't know. I am kind of toying with some JSA or Yujing. I don't know.
Oh, I love the Yujing. They were so fun. The Imperial Service, great army.
Yeah. But we've also got a beautiful next wave army down there, and I could run around with Achilles again.
True.
And my Juggernaut that just grabs people off buildings and eats them.
Oh, we could have Achilles versus Ajax.
Could do.
The classic Greek fight. Well, they didn't fight, they were actually on a team, but still.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Peak history.
See you guys next time.